wanted the best, you got him for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaw.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Welcome one, welcome all to Sim Speed TV for another fantastic dirt sim racing event with a very special reason and all to help out a mate of the community. This is the BB Stay Strong 360 Gold Cup at Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. A virtual version of it at the very least. The cars may not be real, the track may not be real, but the racing certainly is. And it is all to help out Brady Baldwin, an administrator for Oceanic Dirt Sim Racing Events and Slider iRacing Events. He's a guy that's provided a lot of service to the dirt racing community here on iRacing in the AusNZ sphere. Unfortunately, had a horrible accident at Archerfield Speedway recently with severe neck and spinal injuries. A $10 entry fee for this race, every cent of which is going towards Brady to help with his medical fees and recovery. Let's go racing for Brady. I'm Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box, Cameron Dance. Cam, we're going racing at Volusia, a fantastic track for some excellent racing. It's like a mini Eldora with a very weird D shape. It's a difficult track to say the least.
Yeah, it's certainly more of a driver's track than anything else. It's not particularly the fastest oval out of the lot, but it's also not the easiest because of that D shape. Like you said, it's not necessarily even got a back straight because it's curved. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of racing we've got tonight in the 360 sprint cars as well. So slightly different to what we're normally used to with the high horsepower 410s. So really going to be all about keeping that momentum up and seeing what sort of lines we can see.
Yes, indeed. The momentum as we enter 2 minutes to go in practice is the most important thing. Here's an onboard with KRIS Johnson, and that is a good look at the back stretch. It widens out here at Volusia, so you can open your entry onto the back stretch quite a bit, but then tightens up a little on exit. Very misleading. And of course, you got the tight entry onto the front stretch. You need a late apex. Track's getting grooved in pretty nicely already. We've got heats, and then we have got 3 B mains and then an A main of 35 laps to cap off this event and crown a winner. I'm looking forward to this. Practice coming to an end. Cam will be able to see pretty soon what the drivers can do on 1 lap pace. Qualifying's about to go.
Yeah, we most certainly can. It'll be interesting to see what sort of lines people will be running as well, just based on what sort of track wear is going on at the moment. It's looking quite slick on the bottom end of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, but it sort of goes from high to low to sort of mid-track through 3 and 4. So really going to be all about trying to make sure you hit your lines right so you can put yourself at top of the timesheets as quickly as you can.
Yes, indeed, and we should also mention the nature of the groove around here. The line around Volusia, I noticed in practice anyway, you can run flat the whole way round when the track is clean. You will need a little bit more finesse when you're actually out there on the circuit, and it's started to groove in a little bit. Qualifying is go. We'll be able to see what drivers can do around here. Low line should be preferable, but we'll see people gradually moving up the track as the night goes on.
Yeah, most certainly will. We'll see. Like we talked about, that track looking a little bit slick on the bottom side of the racetrack at the moment, but it will start to move further and further up towards the outside fence as the night goes on and as more cars do obviously do more laps. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of wear it'll do. And obviously with less horsepower, it will wear the track out a little bit differently, just primarily because there's not so much dirt being thrown around. So be something to keep an eye on possibly. You might see some interesting lines later in the night, but at the moment, the first times they're coming in, and at the moment, Zachary Fallon on the top.
Yes, indeed. Actually, he's just been pipped by Harry Stewart, who's run a 13.8. Good times coming in from these guys. And Alex Bergeron, who we were thinking would be one of the people to beat in this event, he needs to come back, and he has, to second with a 13.8. Harry Stewart, though, not getting pressured that much up the front at the moment. John Schultz moving to third on a 13.901. What about Zach Howell here? See how he does. And unfortunately, not quite able to improve. Still in 23rd position. Gavin Sadler, meanwhile, moving up to fourth for Pace Syndicate. Really good run from Gav.
It's done quite well there to put the car in P number 4. Didn't quite go quicker on that second lap. Not by a lot, though, but just goes to show that there's that much difference between hitting your line just right and then just missing it by an inch or so.
Tim Ryan, then another guy that we're looking for in terms of ultimate pace around here. Very successful dirt racer, both in real life and in sim racing. Racing in the official World of Outlaws Championship on iRacing, and he has managed to take pole position out of that. 13.798, first person into the 13.7s in qualifying. It looks like Tim Ryan might have just secured that, as we've got a couple more cars coming across the line, sorting out the last couple of positions.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say Tim has well and truly put that car on pole for tonight's racing. So he will start on pole for heat number 1, and it would appear everybody has done their laps by the looks of it. So not looking like it's too bad of a field. Actually, really close in between the middle of the pack as well. It's not even tenths separating it. Literally talking about hundredths and thousandths of a second.
Yeah, mere hundredths, defining basically front of the grid or rear of the grid in a lot of cases. The pace is incredibly close in these cars around a track like this. Lots of downforce in these 360 sprint cars. You can carry a lot of speed through those turns. So these are the unofficial results. The drivers will be then sorted into their own subsequent little subfields for the heats, and we'll be able to go racing. Looking forward to getting this started. Only a minute or so left on the clock in qualifying, but then it'll be the first of what should be a few 8-lap heats, with the top 2 from each getting a ticket into the feature.
Yeah, and getting that top 2 ticket into the feature is really going to be very, very helpful to getting your night started off really, really well. Obviously, you do get the chance to make it into the feature from each of the B mains, so top 4 from those subsequent B mains and the alphabet soup even do go through to the feature. But yeah, it's just better to get the stuff out of the way, get in early rather than have to go through the entire alphabet soup.
Yes, indeed. It's definitely going to work out the best for your event if you can rest as much as possible. Bob King and Dylan DeBono there down at the back of the field. Bob King is the guy running this whole shebang. He sets up the servers, he sets up the rules, and he helps to direct the race as well. Big driving force behind dirt racing here in the AusNZ SimSphere. Thank you very much, Bob, for putting this on. I'm looking forward to a fantastic night of racing. So 30 seconds to go in qualifying, and then we'll be able to finally drop the green flag. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lines people experiment with in the opening laps around here. because you don't want to run too high at Volusia. The track kind of flattens out as you get nearer to the top.
Yeah, it actually does. It's really, really weird, this track, because of the way the banking is, like you said, and you're also with this nice little drone cam that Jay's put together. You're getting quite a good view of what the track looks like as well.
Yes, indeed. And you see that sort of lopsided, lumpy D shape that Volusia occupies this world in. Very difficult to get the right kind of run and momentum onto the back stretch. It's all about traction. Traction essential around here. So the heats are ready to go now. And here is the grid for Heat 1. Tim Ryan starting on pole. John Schultz alongside him on the front row. Danny VASSALL, Nathan Clark, and Aston Hurley rounding out the top 5. Aaron Kelly and Lachlan Smith 6th and 7th. Michael Johnson, Daniel Gow, and Bradley Minsell in the top 10. And the field rounded out by Zach Howell and Dylan DeBono. Everyone lining up behind the pace truck. Then we'll have a couple of laps to form up. And then it's pedal to the metal.
Yes, it most certainly will be pedal to the metal, and probably favourite is obviously going to be Tim Ryan, but I reckon it's going to be on quite intensely for that second place and that final transfer spot to the A main as well in the heats. So probably dozen or so, or half a dozen or so guys could possibly get into that second place. It'll be interesting just to see who comes out with it.
Yeah, well, this is only the start of the night, and unfortunately, we're going to see a couple of people in these heats that may not advance much longer than this, but the consolation is that the entry fee is going to the great cause of helping out Brady Baldwin. That's the guy who this event is for, and hopefully he's watching from wherever he may be and enjoying what he sees. So pace truck moves away. Everyone forming up now. Let's go racing. You're already seeing a bit of a groove forming down at the bottom. Bit of hard, dry, slick-packed clay down there. Wouldn't be much grip available. So the drivers will have to be riding the cushion a little bit above that. And then it becomes a question of where the downforce is on your car, how you've had it set up aerodynamically.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess most drivers will probably running less on the lower side of the wing angles, mainly just because the track's not quite slick enough to have to tighten the car up enough at this stage. So imagine everybody's probably on minimal or at least very low wing settings, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody possibly runs right down on the bottom of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2, and maybe even 3 and 4 as well, just to see if they can get the shortest way around the track. But I imagine it'll be probably mid-track that most of the drivers will be running just above the slick.
Well, we shall see if our theorizing is correct once the green flag drops, which it will imminently. Pace truck is now in. Tim Ryan controlling the field for this first 8-lap heat. And we are racing. It looked like a pretty good start there from John Schultz on the outside, but Danny VASSALL splitting them as they go 3 wide, coming up to the back stretch ever so briefly. Tim Ryan just holding on the inside, but we'll have a look at John Schultz. A fantastic run, using the cushion, getting the traction down, taking that lead. Ryan is now back down to 3rd and getting backing up into the likes of Nathan Clark and Aston Hurley, battling for 4th place.
Yeah, not that great of a start for Tim Ryan there. That's actually very uncommon of him to have that happen. So unbelievable that he's actually managed to drop that far back, and he's actually got quite a big gap to the leader now, John Schultz, as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he can possibly get a move done on Danny VASSALL, but at the moment 4 laps gone, 4 more to go.
Right now, VASSALL holds the transfer spot into the feature, and a little bit of contact between himself and Ryan. Tim, I think, is getting held up a little bit here because Nathan Clark is now right on him and pressuring him for a podium spot. Is Danny VASSALL going to be safe here from the advances of Tim Ryan? Not quite sure, but the one thing is for sure, John Schultz is absolutely flying right now. He's got many a car length up in that lead. Have a look at Tim Ryan trying the slide job. It's not quite working, not this early in the night.
Yeah, did think Tim actually possibly hit the inside wall there into turn one that last time by, and that's why he nearly slid up into Danny Vassal. But Vassal doing a really, really good job holding on to the second position, the final transfer spot from the heat. But Tim Ryan's putting all sorts of pressure on him here to try and get that final transfer spot. White flag is in the air. It's going to be all on come 3 and 4, I reckon.
Yeah, look for the mother of all sends here from Tim Ryan on the inside. Not quite able to keep the momentum up on the inside. Well, John Schultz is going to take the win, but Danny Vassal holding on for second there from Tim Ryan. Schultz and Vassal are both in the feature, but Tim Ryan is going to have to wait for the B mains to stake his claim.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate there for Tim Ryan to have to go through the B mains. Although, with that said, possibly not too big of a disadvantage either, as you know that the track's going to get X amount of slick, and it's also probably not too bad of a thing to be out just before the A main as well. So there's going to be a disadvantage of obviously not having to run every other race, but there's also going to be the advantage of knowing what the track's exactly like just before you go into that A main.
Well, there were the official results from Heat 1, and now we move into Heat 2. Harry Stewart and Gavin Sadler are lining up at the front here. Zach Fellon and Devin Butts, third and fourth. Clint Smith and Nathan Norman on row 3. Scott Butler and Brett Gerards as well. There's a lot of interesting names in this one, rounded out by KAAL, HOFFMANS, Chris Johnson, and Daniel Brown. Already they're pulling away behind the pace truck. This event's moving very quickly, getting ready for Heat 2. So Gavin Sadler, with his performance in qualifying, was quite impressive to get fourth, but Harry Stewart just seemed to have a fantastic edge in terms of pace.
Yeah, he certainly did. Seems to be really, really quick at the moment as of recently, so it's really, really good to see. But whether he's going to be able to hold on to that in the heat is another question. As like we've seen, Tim Ryan went from pole to third in that race alone, so anything can happen in this sort of heat racing. And like we talked about, all about just keeping that momentum up so you can get yourself somewhere in the A main eventually.
Well, we notice that the inside, the low line, has not gotten the optimal start in the previous first heat, so I'll be taking a very close look at Gavin Sadler to see how he puts the power down.
Yeah, I imagine you'll obviously try to get the best possible jump. Will Gavin, possibly Zach Fallon might try get advantage of that as well, but we'll have to see. It'll be really all about timing for those behind the two front runners, that's for sure.
Pace truck is in, green flag flies. It was a good jump there from Harry Stewart and Sadler into the wall on the front stretch. Going back down to third, but powers around the outside as Zachary Fellon to retake second place. So it is Harry Stewart, Gavin Sadler, Zach Fellon, and Devin Butts pressuring for the podium position as the field jostles behind them. And that is Butts almost up into third. Tried to get it done on the inside, but have a look at Fellon. That car's nice and controlled up on the cushion. Butts manages to cover him off only just. This is a good battle here for the podium.
Fallon and Butts really throwing slide jobs at each other, really trying to get that third place, and they're not really doing much of each other favours, trying to capture two ahead. But at the moment, that battle for the lead really starting to heat up with Gavin Sadler all over the back end of Harry Stewart, but still the battle for third and even fourth and fifth between Clint Smith and Scott Butler is going on as well. So plenty of action going on through the field, but at the moment, mostly line astern.
Yeah, Scott Butler trying his best to pull the slide job on Clint Smith, but nothing doing there for now. Looks like our top two's just started to break away, and Sadler really pressuring the back of Stewart now. Sadler has gotten over his start line woes and has now gotten into a good rhythm. Rode up on the cushion a little bit too much there, lost a tiny bit of momentum, but anything can happen in the next two laps. Devin Butts starting to catch up to these guys. We're almost at the final lap. This is looking really intense. You see Devin Butts trying his best there, flinging it in the inside, trying to shorten the distance to the apex as much as possible, but he's not able to catch up anymore. Harry Stewart, meanwhile, running extremely
Oh,
high.
Butts is around.
Oh, and just as that happens, yeah, Butts spinning around. Harry Stewart takes the victory. Sadler in second, and Zach Fellon gets third back right at the end. That was a shame for Devon.
Yeah, it just looked like he turned in slightly too early and just ended up clipping that inside wall. Very, very easy to do around here, especially when you're pushing that hard every single lap. So really, really unfortunate for Devon there. He's easily on for a podium, and had Gavin and Harry come together, he would have had the win, that's for sure.
Certainly would have. Well, Harry Stewart and Gavin Sadler move into the feature as we take a look at the results from Heat 2. Clint Smith getting his way up into 4th place. Good to see there, but very unfortunate, of course, for Devon Butts. He has to settle for 9th place in that heat. So now gridding up is Heat 3. And on pole, Alex Bergeron. He's been one of the dominant drivers in these one-off dirt events the last few times we've run them, but he will have quite the fight from Lewis Hewitt and Trent Gosley in 2nd and 3rd. Daniel Stevens, Matt Reed, and Brenton Hobson round out the top 6. Craig Sheeran, Tyler Bish, Clayton Davies, and Hayden McCandy round out this 10-car field. Bergeron versus Hewitt versus Gosley. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, most certainly. It's going to be quite the intense battle, I reckon, in that top 4, actually top 6, really. So anyone's guess as to who can come out on top with that one. Obviously, Bergeron's probably going to run away with it, let's be honest. But yeah, the rest of the places is really going to be hot property, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. And we've seen a bit more track evolution now. The groove is getting very pronounced on the inside, which is affecting corner entry. Drivers struggling a bit to keep up that grip in the rear end. You can even see the way the sun reflects off it there. Very easy to see where the track is slippery. So this start is going to be critical for Alex Bergeron because he'll be on the poorer side of the grid. Bit less grip available on the groove. Lewis Hewitt, meanwhile, he'll be monitoring Bergeron to see if he can make a jump. Didn't work out for Gavin Sadler in that last heat, but I'm thinking Lewis Hewitt will give a red hot go of it.
Yeah, Lewis will definitely be giving it a red hot go, that's for sure. I imagine Bergeron will really bring it right down to the inside fence off the start so we can have that maximum amount of traction with that much fresher dirt. And then Hewitt will try to time it right so he can get the jump on him, but nevertheless, these two will definitely be going at it very, very hard as the pace truck is in, green flag is out, and we're underway.
Pretty even jump there up the top of the field. Hewitt sticking to the outside, Bergeron to the inside, and it's Hewitt with the momentum, almost drawing level with Bergeron. It looks like Alex is definitely preferring that inside line. Give it a couple of laps to see if it works for him, but he maintains the lead as we see moves back in the field. The number 72 of Craig Sheeran sticking to the inside, and he is racing against Tyler Bish and Hayden McCandy.
Yeah, definitely battles going on further back in the field, but Lewis Hewitt's still trying to get that high line going. It seems to be working not too badly out of 1 and 2, but just seems to lack out of 3 and 4, so really intense battle going on between these two world-class drivers, and now side by side. Massive run there from Hewitt, but still not quite enough. He might just have the momentum now.
Yeah, only just. It might take a couple of laps for things to get to a point where he's satisfied with them. Bergeron tries moving up high, and that's lost him all the momentum there. He's had to give up the lead then to Lewis Hewitt. Will Bergeron be able to come back at him? They'll only have 3 laps to go when they cross the line in a couple of seconds. But these top 2 have skipped away from the rest of the field, which is staying pretty stable as time goes on. Bergeron back to the very inside, the very bottom. Hewitt staying up high. And it's all about that drive onto the front stretch. Hewitt just in front as they cross the line. Only 2 laps to go here. Hewitt with the edge. It looks like Bergeron's just losing a bit too much pace. Oh, just hitting the wall on the inside as well. I think Hewitt's got this.
Yeah, I imagine Hewitt's probably got this one under wraps at this point with the white flag in the air, but battle for 3rd position is... Oh, it's going to be close between Gosley and Hobson.
Well, there goes Lewis Hewitt taking victory. Alex Bergeron moves through into the feature as well. Trent Gosley managing to get 3rd place. only just holding off Brenton Hobson. Daniel Stevens and Matt Reed rounding out the top 6 in that one. Oh my goodness, that was a pretty exciting heat. Hopefully we see many more battles like that throughout the night. It's interesting to see the dichotomy of the low line and the high line at work. Well, now it is time for the first of our B mains, and the top 4 from these races go through into the feature. Here's the grid for the first one. Tim Ryan starting on pole, Nathan Clark joining him on the front row, Daniel Gow and Aston Hurley behind them, with Lachlan Smith and Zach Howell on row 3. Michael Johnson and Dylan DeBono rounding out the field with Aaron Kelly. This is a 9-car field for this one. But Tim Ryan, I think, is going to be the favourite.
Yeah, it's probably pretty obvious that he's going to win this one, but 4 cars do go through to the B main after this, so it'll be interesting to see what happens up to the feature. Sorry, so really going to be interesting to see who comes out with those final transfer spots. It's really going to be on between probably Gow, Hurley, Smith, and Howell, I imagine.
Yeah, so that's a battle we'll definitely be looking at over the next 12 laps. These are 12-lap heats to sort out the B mains, and we got 3 of these coming up, so rest of the field very shortly to be decided. Also notice that the sun is going down, less light hitting the track. Things are going to cool down a little bit, and a little bit more grip might be offered up high, a little bit extra moisture in the air. But we'll have to wait and see for the green flag to drop to see how that goes.
Yeah, obviously less UV light on the track means more moisture and less dry parts of the racetrack. So we'll possibly see a line change coming. Maybe the bottom come back to life, but who knows? It'll be really all about, again, making sure you don't run through any of that slick to keep the momentum up.
And that's going to be the question on Tim Ryan's mind. If he's starting on the inside and he wants that pace, he will want to get up to the top as soon as possible. So it's going to be on him now. As the field forms up behind the pace truck into the pits, our driver goes, and the green flag flies. Great start from Tim Ryan to start things off. Nathan Clark, unfortunately not getting the jump he needed, falling back to 3rd position. Daniel Gow in 2nd. And you're right, Cam, this top 4 is going off right now.
Really 4 wide through turns 3 and 4. That was unbelievable. And it's a 5 cars all battling it out for this final podium position in these final transfer spots. It's absolutely nuts. Slide job from Daniel Gow to get into 2nd there. Turns 3 and 4, but now guess who's coming back up the inside? It is indeed going to be Nathan Clark. It's a bit of a check up there, but manages to hold on to the position, and Gow's probably going to throw a slide job straight back at him at turn number 3 and 4.
Yeah, well, how much are they going to trade places here? Because it's another inside run, or Daniel Gow trying to go low on entry just to cover off Nathan Clark behind him. And a bit of contact behind between Lachlan Smith and Aston Hurley, who are fighting incredibly hard. Teammates, these guys. Hurley into the wall. Just manages to keep going. Incredibly close between these guys. And have a look at Nathan Clark around the outside of the exit of 2. To try and retake this 2nd spot. It is absolutely on for 2nd position now.
Yeah, it's about 3 cars now, nearly 4 cars, all battling for 2nd and 3rd position. Even 4th currently, Lachlan Smith looking to go up the inside of Daniel Gow in turn 3. A bit of a slide job, manages to make it stick, but now Gow's probably going to come back at him at turns 1 and 2. But now Gow coming under pressure from Aston Hurley. This is a crazy racing, and it's all on.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Daniel Gow and Aston Hurley. They're battling for the final transfer spot. That's going to be their ticket into the feature. Hurley losing a bit of momentum there, but Daniel Gow just holding him off and in a sandwich of teammates. Nathan Clark is looking all right there in 2nd, just holding off the advances of Lachlan Smith. But Tim Ryan up the front, absolutely dominant run from him. He's looking completely untroubled in 1st place.
Yeah, perfect run so far from Tim Ryan, just pulling away from the field and cruising out front at the moment. But that 2nd place is certainly was hotly contested earlier on, but that final transfer spot is hotly contested at the moment as well. There's not too many laps to go left in this race, so if Aston Hurley wants to try and get that transfer spot, he needs to make a move now.
Yeah, well, he's trying now, trying the slide job, but losing a bit too much momentum sliding up the circuit. It's going to be white flag now as our leader crosses the line. And we're going to be concentrating on Daniel KAAL here, just getting into the wall, and Aston Hurley into the wall as well. That's his fight for the final transfer spot over. He ends it in the wall, and Tim Ryan taking a dominant victory there, securing his place in the feature. Nathan Clark, Lachlan Smith, and Daniel KAAL, your top four. They're all in there. Aaron Kelly finishes in P5, but oh my goodness, Aston Hurley was almost there.
Yeah, it was nearly there, not quite in the end, unfortunately, hitting the inside wall, which brought an end to his campaign to try and get through to the A main, unfortunately. So, see what can possibly come of this next B main.
Yes, indeed, and the grid will be as follows. Zachary Felon starting on pole position, Clint Smith joining him on the outside of the front row. KAAL HOFFMANS and Scott Butler on row 2. Brett Gerards makes another appearance starting in 5th place. Nathan Norman rounding out the top 6. Devin Butts will be looking for a bit of redemption from that opening salvo of heats. Chris Johnson and Daniel Brown rounding out the 9-car field for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who is going to come through. I imagine Devin Butts is going to want redemption as well, starting down in P number 7 after nearly making the transfer spot in his heat. So will be one to watch coming through the field. But again, nearly the entire field can challenge for this all these transfer spots. So really going to be a busy racetrack, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to this one going off because we know that Zach Felon has pace. We know that his rivals have pace like KAAL HOFFMANS. Really looking forward to the checkered flag flying for this one because it's looking like it's going to be another brilliant finish.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be a very, very close finish, especially with how close it is between each of the competitors. So really, really looking forward to this one to see who's going to come out on top and who's going to end up through to the A main from this. So many good drivers in this heat and this B main, sorry, and so many good drivers could possibly go through. So really, really looking forward to it. But the pace track nearly pulling off, so we're about to go racing.
Yes, indeed. So Zach Felon starts here and looks like a interesting form there on the start, going 3 wide down the front stretch almost. Oh, big contact there. Zach Felon all the way to the back of the field. That was huge contact there. I'm not even sure who that was, but he is out of contention now for the lead of this race, and Clint Smith is the one holding the lead, but not for long. There goes KAAL HOFFMANS, the slide job, into position 1. What a start.
Yeah, an absolute crazy start. Unfortunate for Zach Felon there to end up down the back of the field, but at the moment, 3-way battle for the lead between Clint Smith, KAAL HOFFMANS and Scott Butler, and even Devin Butts as well, who's come through the field to end up P4 at the moment. So really going to be all on in a few laps' time, I reckon.
Yeah, this is an incredible race going on right now in the second of our B mains. Clint Smith just holding off, but losing traction out of turn 2. KAAL HOFFMANS trying to hold that high line, and have a look behind them at Scott Butler leading a train of cars. Devin Butts, Nathan Norman, and Brett Gerards, who was the one who made contact with Zach Felon on lap 1. There's Butts with the run, and he gets down on the inside. Nathan Norman trying his best to hold the outside here. Neck and neck across the start-finish line. This is why I love dirt racing. KAAL HOFFMANS, though, is getting a great gap. Clint Smith sliding a little bit too much, a little bit too sideways for the number 67. He is now back into the clutches of Butler and Butts.
Yeah, possibly set the car a little bit too loose to Clint Smith there to end up causing him to be sliding too much. But regardless, it's a 3-way, nearly 4-way fight for the final transfer spot between Butts, Norman, and also Jarrett's not too far behind as well. So all going on, and it's big contact.
Yeah, Nathan Norman and Brett Gerart's there getting involved with each other. That's a big shame. Gerart's just going up into the wall when Norman was still there. Unfortunate for them, but the battle's still going on here for second. Scott Butler running up as high as he can, nearly getting into the wall. You see how much the optimum line has moved up. Clint Smith tries the slide job, tries to hold on to second. It's not going to last too long. They've only got 2 laps to go now at the line. KAAL HOFFMANS crossing the line in P1. Butler with some good momentum coming out of turn 2. Clint Smith still fighting.
Yeah, Clint trying to get up into P2 once again, but it's probably not going to be happening with the momentum Butler's going to have around the outside. But Clint tries anyway with the slide job, but not quite close enough to get the job done in the end at turn 1. But looking like Hoffman's going to really have this one very easily, and Butler's going to come home second. Clint Shane Smith third, and it Butts will be the final transfer spot after finally getting redemption in his B main.
Yeah, excellent stuff there from Devon, making it up into 4th place. Zach Fellon, meanwhile, will be kicking himself, starting on pole and getting taken out through absolutely no fault of his own. Unfortunately, that's what he's going to have to settle for. But we've got one more B main to go until we get ready for the feature. And this is going to be an interesting grid for this one. Trent Gosley is starting on pole position. Brenton Hobson in 2nd place. Daniel Stevens and Matt Reed on the 2nd row. Craig Sheeran and Tyler Bish, 5th and 6th, with Clayton Davies and Hayden McCandy rounding out the field. Bradley Minshall as well starting in this one.
Yeah, certainly quite a few drivers in this one who could easily take that top 4 away, but going to be quite the fight between those top 3, Gosley, Hobson, and Stevens. So will be a battle to watch, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. If we were going to pick someone to take this one, you'd obviously go for Gosley as the obvious choice, but Daniel Stevens has got quite a bit of pace under his bonnet as the field moves off to begin their formation laps. Brenton Hobson has been a driver that we've seen some good form with, but bad luck tends to fall his way more often than not. I'll be interested to see what Hobbo can do from here.
Yeah, certainly will be keen to see what Hobbo can do in this sort of heat. Usually does go quite alright on the dirt stuff, but does have that bad luck, unfortunately, from time to time. So you'll be definitely hoping for a good result tonight to try and see if he can get some form of result.
Well, Trent Gosley will have been monitoring how things have been going throughout the heats and the B mains, and he will know what he's in for starting on the bottom like he is. It's all about timing that launch and making sure that you maintain traction, because these things, they are reduced in power compared to the 410s that we love so much, but they can still spin up those rear tires, something chronic. So, pace truck pulling in. Who's it going to be getting the best start off the line? Gosley versus Hobson on the front row. And we have a start. Good jump from Gosley. Hobson slots into 2nd and uses the high line. Daniel Stevens staking a claim here for 2nd. And have a look at the run from Craig Sheeran on the inside as well, challenging for this podium position.
Yeah, he most certainly is. The podium position is all on. There's about 5 different cars, 6 even, who could possibly get inside that top 4. It's just all going off at the moment. Number of cars side by side, all looking for that grip, and nearly 3 wide. Hobbo on the top side, but hold on. But yeah, all going off at the moment.
Yeah, Craig Sheeran now having to defend from Clayton Davies, who he's been involved side by side with the last couple of laps. Behind them, you got the teammates of Matt Reed and Daniel Stevens battling it out for 5th and 6th place. But the critical position the drop spot is, it looks like it's separated a little bit between these two guys. They're battling, not so much for the transfer spot, but the space between them.
Yeah, most certainly they are, and it's really, really intense at the moment. So, all going off, and interesting to see two lines actually starting to work. Probably the higher side better in 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, it's really, really even at the moment. So, good to see a number of different lines being used, but at the moment, it's looking like the drivers behind Clayton and Craig are starting to catch up a little bit here.
Yeah, they are. These guys are running side by side quite a bit through these opening turns, and the battle for fifth has now been joined by Tyler Bish, who's giving a real hard time to Matt Reed and Daniel Stevens here, almost going 3 wide through turn 4. But they won't be battling for the transfer spot unless something happens to Craig and Clayton up ahead of them.
Yeah, they definitely won't be at this stage, but there's two really racy, although Craig's got a little bit of a gap at the moment with that top side really starting to come in, especially with the way that cushion has started to form. A lot of drivers have been running that high side all night long, and it's probably built that cushion up quite a bit. You can actually see it's quite high in turns 3 and 4 right in the middle, and probably on the entry to turn 1 as well. So really starting to see that highline start to come in as the lead is on between Gosley and Hobson.
Yeah, looks like Hobson's managed to catch up to Gosley and has the momentum around the outside. He's taken the lead for the briefest of moments, and it's going to be white flag next time by. Hobbo's got the gap. He might just have this, but Gosley working that inside for all it's worth, just not able to maintain the momentum as the white flag flies. So Hobson, with a great drive here around the outside, all he has to do is keep it out of the wall. But the battle for the transfer spot well and truly over. That's been decided, and the winner has been decided as well. Brenton Hobson, a great victory in the number 88 there. And it's going to be Trent Gosley in second. Sheeran and Davies completing the top 4. And that is going to be a bit of your grid for the feature. Unfortunately, Tyler Bish, though passing the teammates of Daniel Stevens and Matt Reed, not able to get into that transfer spot.
Yeah, really unfortunate. It was really close, but not quite in the end. So will be something to watch in this A main. There's a lot of laps and quite a few drivers as well who could possibly win this. So definitely going to be a good race, that's for sure. And again, all for a good cause.
Yes, indeed. We got to remind you, this race is for Brady Baldwin, a guy who has assisted in Oceanic Dirt racing events. A big thanks to Down Under Graphics for your support of this one as well. If you're not aware, Brady Baldwin, racing in real life at Archerfield Speedway, had an accident and he sported severe neck and spinal injuries as a result. The $10 entry fee that every driver competing tonight has paid is going to go directly to Brady to help with his recovery.
Yeah, most certainly. And that accident was quite severe by the sounds of it. So a lot of physio and a lot of work. Rough road ahead for Brady, but he'll pull through regardless. And going to be really, really good to see the sort of racing that we're going to have tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, while things are getting set up here for the A main, the top 7 will be inverted, which is going to spice things up a little bit more. We'll be back in just a few moments here on Sim Speed TV. You're watching the BB Stay Strong 360 Gold Cup from Volusia Speedway Park.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaw.
fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
You're watching Sim Speed TV. I'm Reese Gardiner. Joining me, Cameron Dance and Jay Kennedy on the cameras. This is the BB Stay Strong 360 Gold Cup from Volusia Speedway Park in support of Brady Baldwin after an accident at Archerfield Speedway, helping his recovery from his injuries. The A main is about to go live. It's going to be a 35-lap A main. And to start things off, man, what a field we've got here today, Cam. The start for this one is going to be huge. We've got on pole the likes of Tim Ryan and Alex Bergeron on the front row. Looking forward to seeing the matchup between these guys.
Yeah, most certainly going to be one heck of a matchup. Two, in fact, iRacing World Champions. So, literally, World Championship front row, that's for sure. So, going to be mono and mono between those two, probably for the race win. Can't really say who's going to actually come out on top because it's going to be that close. But regardless, rest of the place is really going to be hotly contested. Quality field, like you said. So, really looking forward to how this race is going to go.
Yes, indeed. And we can't forget about the likes of Gavin Sadler, Danny VASSALL, Harry Stewart, Lewis Hewitt, KAAL HOFFMANS, and John Schultz. These guys looking really good to take the fight to Bergeron and Ryan up the front. Looking forward to seeing how that matchup goes, because we saw some great performances from all of the drivers up the top of this field in the heats.
Yeah, most certainly did. We saw a lot of battling from a lot of drivers, some really, really good racing, and a lot of strategic moves as well from nearly everybody in the heats and the B mains. So really, really going to be good to see what sort of racing we can get. Probably going to see the high line be the dominant line, but then again, you might see that bottom line come in. So we'll be really interested to see what happens.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a wonderful night here. And to kick things off, the field running 4 wide to pay tribute to Brady Baldwin. Sim community is behind you, mate. You're one of us, and you do what many sim racers aspire to. We certainly hope and wish all the best for your recovery, Brady, and we hope that you're enjoying this night of racing. It's certainly been one to watch so far.
Yeah, most certainly has a lot of great racing, a lot of good competition. So, for a great cause and going to be just as good of a race.
4 wide once again across the start-finish stretch, and that is a beautiful field of 360 sprint cars making their way around Volusia Speedway Park. And this track has given us some incredible racing tonight as they break formation and go back into 2x2 to get ready to take the start of this race. As you said, Cam, the line experimentation will likely be key here.
As the green flag is out, and we are underway for the racing. Already 3 wide for the, in fact, 4 and 5 wide even through the mid-pack.
Oh my goodness, a big start here to start things off. Ryan and Bergeron running in your top 2, but right behind them, it is complete chaos. Hewitt making contact with HOFFMANS, both of them around in a big crash to start things off here. Also involved Devin Butts and Scott Butler making their mark on the wall there, and we are under caution. So not much racing to start things off, and already we got some drivers looking worse for wear.
Yeah, really unfortunate incident there for KAAL, HOFFMANS and Lewis here. I'm not quite sure what happened there, although it looks like two of them kind of just came into each other, and HOFFMANS might have just got a little bit loose on that slick stuff on the front straight, which is very, very dark and very, very slippery by the looks of it. So really unfortunate for those two. So they could have had a very solid result. And Lewis probably one of the favourites as well to try challenge Ryan and Bergeron.
Yes, indeed. We get another view of that. Hoffman's getting a bit loose there and going low as Hewitt was trying to move up the track, and it just instated a chain reaction among the rest of the field. Guys like Gosley and Gow were lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, they most certainly were. There was a lot of cars going in all sorts of different directions on board with Trent Gosley here. You can just see the cars suddenly bouncing straight back out on track. It's madness out there, so did a really good job to avoid that.
They certainly did. Thank you very much to Modem Simulation for sponsoring replays here at Sim Speed TV. So Tim Ryan maintaining the lead here from Alex Bergeron. And it looked like he was able to hold his own reasonably well at the start, but as the race goes on, as the cars pound around the track and heat it up a little bit, we'll see what if any aces Bergeron has up his sleeve, because he's one of the most professional dirt sim racers there is, and he knows his way around these cars.
Yeah, most certainly does, but again, so does Tim Ryan, so it's a very even battle up the front there between those top two, but again, anything can happen, so we might see another victor come out on top, but green flag is back out and we are underway. Tim Ryan going very late and a big check up there in the mid-pack.
Yeah, certainly. Bergeron was caught out there. A little bit of contact that sent him back, and Gavin Sadler has come off worst from that. He's mired back in the pack now, but it's still Bergeron and Ryan up the front, and Bergeron's got a really good run here on the inside at the moment, working the lower end of the track very nicely.
Yeah, most certainly is. That bottom, like you said, might come into, and it seems to have, even the mid-tracks come in a little bit again as well. So really good to see the mixture of lines, but Tim Ryan right up on the high side, up against the cushion through turns 1 and 2 and getting a massive run compared to Alex Bergeron.
Yeah, and how about what's going on behind these guys as well, as we take a look at the field streaming through the last couple of turns from the rear quarter of Tim Ryan. This is a huge battle here for third place back, currently occupied by John Schultz by less than a car length, but Danny Vassall has been holding that position for the majority of this time. Nathan Clark, Harry Stewart, Brenton Hobson, a recovering Gavin Sadler, and Trent Gosley as well, all involved in this fight, with a few more besides, like Devin Butts and Lachlan Smith.
Yeah, it's a massive gaggle of cars, 3 wide at different points as well, all trying to find their own little bit of racetrack and trying to find some positions as well. It's really, really tough. That midline's actually really given, looks like John Schultz, I believe that is a really good run there, but just not quite able to do it in the end. Looks like that will be Nathan Clark's going to go round the outside of all of them.
Yeah, Nathan Clark holding really well in third place at the moment, leaving them behind. It's on for the lead, though, once again, because Alex Bergeron continuing to pressure at the back of Tim Ryan and trying the high line himself.
Yeah, Alex has finally realised what's going on with Tim and using that high line to try and close that gap up, but not quite able to do it at the moment. Might have his car set up to come on a little bit later in the race, but at the moment, that battle in just behind for that top 5, 4 wide out of turn 4.
This is crazy at the moment. Nathan Clark facing pressure here from Harry Stewart, who goes up the inside and takes third place. Looks like he is just going to hold it here. So making good use of the opportunities afforded to him. Gavin Sadler recovering to 5th place. And now he's starting to draw up to the back of Nathan Clark and Harry Stewart here, who continue to run side by side up the top of 3 and 4. Have a look at Sadler. He's got a really good run on at the moment. Could potentially finish on the podium with the pace he has at the moment.
Yeah, he's got some really, really good pace in that car, does Gavin Sadler at the moment. He's showing that midline's really working quite well for him, but at the moment, Harry Stewart doing quite a good job holding on to P number 3, running that lower line just to try and find some moisture in the track, but that mid-track is really starting to come to life by the looks of it.
Yeah, lots of people using high, lots of people using low, and especially now, as you can see, the groove is covering almost the whole track. There are a few patches in the middle of the road that offer just a little bit more grip. You can see all of these guys battling for 4th place using that line as the lead is on, and Alex Bergeron just briefly taking it from Tim Ryan, but not enough momentum on the inside. Ryan, it looks like he has got his right foot absolutely worked out right now.
Yeah, these two really have not stopped battling since the green flag dropped from that last restart, and they're still going at it. There's nothing between the two of them. Literally, you're talking a matter of meters, if not feet, between the two of them. It's hardly anything, and Bergeron going to go up the inside again, but not quite going to be able to get the run around the outside that Tim Ryan does.
Yeah, Ryan's just able to throw it into the turns with a little more velocity than Bergeron can, maintaining a bit more mid-corner speed as a result, which is very important on a track as slick as this. You see Bergeron really favoring the inside, but it looks like it's just not working enough for him at the moment.
Yeah, it's
They're
just
coming up to traffic as well.
Yeah, they're actually starting to catch traffic now, so traffic again going to play another role in possibly affecting this lead battle. So Tim Ryan's going to really want to time his moves as best as he can and possibly even try to put some cars between himself and Alex Bergeron. And Bergeron possibly going to get a little bit balked out of turn number 1 as well by Craig Sheeran.
Yeah, well, Sheeran trying to leave Bergeron just enough room on the inside, and he is through, but that's reduced the closeness to Tim Ryan for Alex Bergeron. He's going to have to put in a little bit more work to close the gap back up.
Yeah, he certainly is, and Bergeron's gone straight to the top of the racetrack to run that cushion, try and close the gap up, try and get some momentum back into what he has, actually bouncing off the wall of that right rear on a few occasions, but that is Bergeron. He likes to run the fence. He will run it even if he has to bounce off the fence 1 or 3 times, so he's really pushing quite hard.
Yeah, they're making their way through the reaches of the top 12 now. Ryan just making his way past Trent Gosley there, and Bergeron looking to do the same very shortly. These guys are almost getting up into the realm of Clint Smith as we have 11 laps to go in this A main. Time rapidly running out here for Alex Bergeron, but Tim Ryan looks to be in control here in the race lead.
Yeah, most certainly does. He's got quite a gap back to Bergeron at the moment, does Tim Ryan, so he's going to be nice and comfortable out front. But at the moment, there's quite a little battle going on for 4th and 5th between Nathan Clark and Gavin Sadler. They're at bumper to bumper at the moment, and then not too far behind is Brenton Hobson and John Schultz fighting it hard. So two little battles just within the top 5, all really going hard as well.
Yeah, exactly. And Sadler holding off against Clark for now. And it is the same with Hobson and Schultz. These guys looking very good at the moment, racing cleanly, but racing hard. It's difficult to do much more when the track has this little grip. Sadler and Hobson seem to have the edge over their opponents right now. You see John Schultz working the wheel incredibly hard in that cockpit. These cars are not handling at their best right now. Hobson just managing to hold on, using the outside line. Can Schultz try the slide job? Not quite. A little bit too slow on entry.
Yeah, didn't quite manage to get the slide job down pat there, did John Schultz, but nevertheless he'll be able to stick in behind and try and hunt down Hobson as best he can. Nathan Clark doing the same to Gavin Sadler, but running out of laps at the moment for the leaders is there.
Yes, indeed. Tim Ryan and Alex Bergeron with 5 to go now. They are back together. Tim Ryan still holding the lead by a couple of car lengths, but there is Alex Bergeron right behind him, working that low line. And have a look at the run here from Nathan Clark on Gavin Sadler. Sadler a little bit lost momentum on the inside here. You see the cars over-rotating a bit. What can Clark do? He's putting all of his faith in his rear tires here. There's a fantastic battle going on between these two. Oh my goodness, and right there for the lead, Alex Bergeron just taking the lead from Tim Ryan again. It is 100% on. Ryan with a bad exit there, 2 to go. Alex Bergeron is now in the lead. It's up to him to try and keep it ahead of Tim Ryan. There's a bit of traffic here that might help him. This is the battling pair of Lachlan Smith and Devin Butts for 8th and 9th. Ryan making his way through. And the leaders are incredibly close as we are on the final lap now. Can Bergeron hold on here? He's only got one more turn to go. Ryan throws it in, but he cannot keep the momentum up. Alex Bergeron with a great move at the last pip takes the win here in the 360 Gold Cup for Brady Baldwin.
Yeah, great move there by Alex to time that. Literally, you couldn't have timed that any better that could, Alex, to end up winning this race really late in the race, but just managed to time it well and get it done in the end. So well done to Alex. And looking like pretty much the rest of the field managed to sort of spread themselves out in the end. So not really much change there, but really, really good battle for the lead there between Bergeron and Ryan.
Yeah, and it lasted all race as well. Bergeron keeping the pressure up and just making it work when he needed to. But we can't take anything away from Tim Ryan either. That was a fantastic drive from him. Very mature, very controlled. I mean, he is on the second step of the podium at the end of it, but this night will be something for Tim Ryan to be proud of, I'm sure. As Alex Bergeron celebrates his celebratory donuts, here are the official race results. So Alex Bergeron taking victory and Tim Ryan in second. And that is your result. And we're going to be getting into driver interviews very soon. But while we're doing that, we'll take a very quick break to recover ourselves, catch our breath. Stay with us. We'll have post-race and interviews with the podium here on Sim Speed TV. The BB Stay Strong 360 Gold Cup from Volusia Speedway Park.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
You're watching Sim Speed TV. We just saw a fantastic finish in the feature for the BB Stay Strong 360 Gold Cup at Volusia Speedway Park, racing for the benefit of Brady Baldwin, helping with his recovery from injuries sustained at Archerfield Speedway. Well, it's post-race time and driver interview time. And of course, the first one we're going to go to is our race winner, Alex Bergeron. Alex, welcome to the commentary box. The run you have had in these last few Australian events is absolutely immense, and it was another strong victory. It was a hard battle with Tim Ryan, though, throughout most of the feature.
Yeah, I just took my time there at the end. I knew it was gonna still run the middle, and I was able to get the bottom good going there at the end. So yeah, it's 5 a.m. in the morning here, so still a bit sleepy. So yeah, I was not hitting my marks there at the beginning, but there at the end, I just started to be back in the beat and just got by him. So that's pretty good.
We did notice a bit of line experimentation happening throughout the night, and the groove covering almost the entire usable racing line by the end of it. So a bit of experimentation from you as well versus Tim Ryan. Were you just searching for the right kind of grip, and do you think you would have changed full time to take in the high line if the chance presented itself?
Yeah, I mean the top was still fast. The bottom was a bit quicker, but the outside was easier to take, and you have less chances of hitting the fence or something like that. So, yeah, that's why I tried the top couple of times. It was fast, but it was not as fast as the bottom. So that's why I went back to the bottom and stuck with it, and I was able with the last 5 laps to get by him, and I didn't expect to get by him because I was at least a second back at some point. I don't know if I think it was middle of the race, and I caught him back up and with the lap cars, and yeah, like I said, I didn't expect that at all, and it's a nice race for Team BR Esports and for Brady as well. He's going through a lot of stuff right now, and this race for him. So all prayers goes to him.
Thank you very much, Alex. Before we let you go, are there any other shout-outs or sponsors that you'd like to say?
Well, I gotta thank everybody at Team BR Esports, Jason Nygaard, my girlfriend Rebecca, all of our partners, TSI Shocks, Pit Logic app, BK Designs for all the racing paints. Thanks to Bob King. Meyer Inc. Farm Equipment. You guys for broadcasting tonight, doing an awesome job. And shout out to Brady. We wish you the best you can, and a quick recovery from everybody here at Team ABR. So I hope you're listening to this, and like I said, wish you a quick recovery, and I hope to see you back on track soon.
Thank you very much for joining us, Alex Bergeron, your race winner there. Now, Cam, the next person we're going to talk to is our second place finisher, Tim Ryan, who had the lead for the majority of the race.
Oh yeah, mate, just towards the end there, I just wanted to give it up, it's all for Brady. Nah, it's a really good race. To have 30 green flag laps was really awesome. To be honest, I was actually pretty thirsty towards the last few laps. I'm just not used to going that many laps green, but yeah, it was a really good race with Alex. I think we would have been within a second for the entire race, and then manoeuvring through lap traffic towards the end there hurt me a little bit. I lost a bit of ground that I made in the last 5 odd laps, and then just come a bit unstuck in the last few.
Well, Tim obviously wasn't quite the one, but you've got to be happy with second. I mean, you drove a pretty good race with Tim, and there was with Alex. Sorry, and there was a lot of action going on. Did you really think the track was going to form in the way it did, or did you think it was going to sort of get a little bit more slick, or possibly stay a little bit more moist?
To be honest, I had a pretty good read of the track. As you would have seen the racing, I don't know how it was throughout the field, but me and Alex were often using very different lines throughout the race, which is awesome. It's very hard to get a combination like that where you can be so even and running 2 completely different lines. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable race. Obviously, I wanted to try a few things as well. I think some of the things worked, some of the things didn't, but it was awesome to run. I'm really glad that Bob put it on for Brady, and I hope he gets better.
Yeah, most certainly we do hope he gets better. Well, before we go, Tim, just anyone you want to give a shout out to real quick?
Yeah, obviously Bob for putting on. That's the main thing. Jay, I don't know if many people know, he put the broadcast on for free as well, so that's a massive thing. And obviously you boys for commentating. And then obviously the team, Logitech G, Ultra Sports, and our partners, Logitech G, Astro Gaming, and Motum Simulation. And cheers, boys.
Well, there you have it, your second place finisher, and Reese, I believe you're standing by with our third place finisher, Harry Stewart.
I am indeed. Welcome to the commentary box, Harry, and congratulations on your podium. I tell you what, it was a very difficult night, and you managed to show up against some very fast drivers here.
Yeah, I was just looking to finish the feature or even make it with everyone that showed up tonight. So, yeah, pretty happy.
In terms of your journey through this night and your preparation for this race at Volusia, difficult track in the sprint cars. It's a very fast circuit, but it requires a lot of technique and a bit of experimentation in line.
Yeah, before the race went up, I was doing some laps around the top, and I really liked it up there, so I tried to get through the field when we were like 3 wide at the start of the race to try and get up top. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
And how was the traffic? Well, obviously, we ran quite a while without a caution, apart from that one at the start, which meant there was a lot of weaving and diving going on between cars on separate laps.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have to deal with lap traffic just because Tim and Alex took off. But yeah, at the start of the race was pretty hectic, just trying to find a line where no one else was when we were 3 wide. And yeah, managed to get through it without crashing.
Well, coming out of this event, you must be very happy with how things have gone. Any shout outs or sponsors for you, Harry? Who gets it done for you?
I'd just like to thank everyone at United Esports. Wouldn't be doing this race without Alan. So, yeah, and shout out to Brady.
Shout out to Brady indeed. Thank you very much for joining us, Harry Stewart. And that brings to an end proceedings for tonight, Cam, as we watch a bit of slow-mo of the racing that was this 360 Gold Cup for Brady Baldwin. Certainly a race for the ages. Really enjoyed this.
Yeah, most certainly was. It was a really good night of racing. Really, really awesome race for the lead as well. Late in the race with Alex and Tim going at it neck and neck the whole time. So, yeah, really, really good night of racing and really, really good to put it on for Brady.
Yes, indeed. Well, we want to thank Oceanic Dirt Sim Events and Bob King for putting this event on. We want to thank Down Under Graphics for their support as well. And we want to thank all of you, the viewers, for tuning in to watch this event. Our shout outs go to Brady Baldwin. We definitely wish you a speedy recovery, and the entire Dirt Sim Racing community on iRacing certainly wishes the same. I've been Reese Gardner. That's been Cameron Dance, Jay Kennedy on cameras. We're Sim Speed TV. It's been a pleasure to bring this event to you, and we'll see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's going around the outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God. Big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go.
Oh no.
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?